My boyfriend possessed a tongue sharp enough to draw blood, yet a face beautiful enough to make you forgive him. His favorite phrase to use against me, always laced with a condescending drawl, was, right, whatever you say. In our 10th year together, Marcus finally caved. He agreed to come home with me for the holidays to meet my family. On the 20th of December, brimming with foolish hope, I texted him, "What day are you flying in?" Radio silence. It wasn't until Christmas Eve that my phone buzzed with his reply. K. I took a slow, deep breath, swallowing the familiar spike of frustration. Are you free on the 27th or 28th? Those are the only days that work for my folks back home. Earlier or later messes up my schedule. Just give me a firm date so I can tell my parents, I typed back. The response was instant this time. Again, just K. A second later, a voice memo popped up. His tone was infuriatingly casual, dripping with detached arrogance. You're always complaining that I'm too sarcastic, that I gave you a simple K. Are you satisfied now? I sat there, my fingers wrapped tight around my phone, staring blankly at that single, dismissive letter. For a long time, the world was perfectly still. Then my thumb moved. I opened my blocked contacts list. I scrolled until I found the man who had once shamelessly, relentlessly offered to be the other man in my life. Are you free to come home with me for the holidays and meet my family? We get married right after. His reply came in a heartbeat. Done. Marcus, if you refuse to show up, someone else will gladly take your place. 1. I opened Marcus's thread one last time. That glaring K sat at the bottom of our history, a monument to his apathy. What was the point anymore? It had taken me 8 grueling years just to force his hand into meeting my parents for the holidays. Was I supposed to spend the next 8 years begging for a ring? Another 8 begging for a child? We're done. I sent the text without a tremor in my fingers. I locked my phone and started packing that we had made it official our freshman year of College Point 10 years together, 8 of them sharing a roof. The detritus of our shared life was everywhere, heavy, sprawling, suffocating. Yet, the moment the decision settled in my bones, packing felt lighter, faster than any move we'd ever done together. Throw it away. Donate it. Leave it. In a matter of hours, the 3-bedroom apartment that had been stuffed to the brim with our existence echoed with emptiness. I called a moving company, efficient and cold, and had my boxes hauled to a small studio apartment I'd bought years ago as a quiet investment. Just like that, a decade was surgically removed. Before walking out the door, I took one last look around. This was the place we'd lived the longest, the place we were supposed to renovate into our marital home. A sudden, sharp ache bloomed in the back of my throat. 10 years. Over. Extinguished in absolute silence. By the time I dragged my suitcase into the fluorescent glare of the airport terminal, my phone chimed. Marcus's custom text tone. Despite myself, a pathetic, unruly sliver of hope reared its head. My hand moved faster than my brain, tapping the notification bar. I let out a dry, neurotic laugh. Then I blocked his number. Overhead, the airport coffee shop was playing a soft, melancholic indie pop song. If we're breaking, let's break clean. No apologies. No regrets. What's there to owe? I dared to give it all. I dared to let it break. I thought about the last decade, the dizzying highs, the screaming fights. Walking away now, while I still had a shred of dignity, felt like the only way to honor the genuine love we once shared. I couldn't wait around until his little intern decided to knock on my door to stake her claim. That would be pathetic. Lost in thought, I aimlessly opened Instagram. A new story with a green ring popped up. Kenzie, Marcus's 21-year-old assistant. My boss said he'd pretend to be my boyfriend to get my parents off my back about dating. I am literally the luckiest girl in the world. The next slide, you guys don't even know. He spent forever picking out outfits just to come home with me for the holidays. Who said men hate shopping? I am exhausted. The photo grid showed Marcus in 9 different casual outfits, looking effortlessly wealthy but shockingly youthful. A vintage hoodie, distressed denim, clean white sneakers. It was the complete antithesis of his usual, severely tailored aesthetic. I pressed the buttons to screenshot, but the story vanished mid-capture. Deleted. I smiled. A bitter, self-deprecating curve of my lips. I remembered meeting Marcus in college. Even back then, as the brooding student body president, he practically lived in button-downs and slacks. I used to beg him to wear matching college hoodies with me. He rejected me every single time. My position doesn't allow me to dress like a clown, Camille. Stop acting like a child. Since when did hoodies and jeans become acceptable? Looking at the ghost of that image, Marcus, dressed like a carefree college boy for someone else, felt like taking a knife to the ribs. We were broken up, but he still had the power to make me bleed. The intercom called my flight. I stood up, gripped my luggage handle, and joined the boarding line. I had walked this terminal alone for 10 years. For 5 of those years, I had begged him to come home with me. Kenzie had been his intern for exactly 6 months. It's fine, Marcus. From now on, you'll never have to rack your brain for another excuse to say no. 2. The plane was dead quiet. Night flights always are. I was surrounded by sleeping strangers, yet I was drowning in an ocean of inexplicable, crushing loneliness. I opened TikTok, navigating to a burner account I used to quietly keep tabs on Kenzie. She had just posted a text-to-speech slideshow. The title, "The Guy Who Loves You Doesn't Need to Be Asked." The moment my boss found out my family set me up on a blind date for the holidays, he freaked out. I didn't even ask him to pretend to be my boyfriend. He volunteered. OMG, guys, I think I'm developing massive feelings for him. Am I crazy? It's like having a crush on your strict professor. But he's so good to me. What do I do if I'm actually falling for him? The comment section was a chorus of enablers. Girl, your boss is built like a Calvin Klein model and he's initiating? How could you not fall for him? Diagnosis. Creator is a clueless, oblivious queen. He's practically throwing himself at you. Wake up. Been following for 6 months. I'm literally screaming at my screen. When are you changing your handle from Intern Kenzie to Office Romance Diaries? Confess to him already. You guys are totally one step away. Did I notice Marcus drifting away during our 10th year? Of course I did. I was just so tired. Marcus was fundamentally anti-marriage. I didn't find that out until the day we graduated. I thought about it for a week, then packed my things and told him I was leaving. I'm an only child, I had told him, my voice trembling. If I don't get married, if I don't have a family, it would shatter my parents. It would shatter my grandparents. The color drained from Marcus's face. Does leaving me mean nothing to you? What does it matter how much it hurts? I was furious that he had hidden this massive, life-altering truth from me. I can't just be your girlfriend for the rest of my life. He scrambled for a lifeline. Your life belongs to you, Camille. You shouldn't have to carry the weight of your family's expectations. I held up a hand, cutting him off. Who said it was just their expectation? We used to lay in bed and talk about having a baby, about giving it all the love in the world. I looked at him, ice in my veins. I want a family. I want children. Was all of that just pillow talk to you? Marcus had no answer. We ended it that night. A month later, he showed up outside my corporate housing. He looked gaunt, pale, clutching a massive bouquet of flowers. Camille, I can't do this. I don't want to be without you. He looked at me with those devastatingly intense eyes. Can you just give me a little time? I'm not ready to step into a marriage right now. I was soft. He was my first love. I never said we had to get married tomorrow. I whispered. Are you sure about this? I asked him, searching his face. Don't change your entire worldview just to keep me. Tears welled in his eyes. The fear of marriage is nothing compared to the terror of losing you. He swallowed hard. Wait for me, Camille. I'll overcome it. I waited 7 years. I was done waiting. 3. Exiting baggage claim. I pulled out my phone to hail an Uber, but it rang before I could open the app. Cammy, you land yet? It was my dad. Yeah, I'm heading to the curb. I'm parked by the cell phone lot near Terminal 1. Head this way. Oh, okay. I was genuinely shocked. Aside from my freshman and sophomore years of college, my dad hadn't picked me up from the airport in ages. I dragged my suitcase through the freezing winter air. From 50 yards away, I saw my mom and dad leaning against their Subaru, craning their necks to scan the crowd. When they spotted me, they practically jogged over. Dad grabbed my bag to heave it into the trunk, while my mom kept peering over my shoulder, looking at the sliding glass doors behind me. Seeing their frantic, hopeful faces, I suddenly felt a wave of profound relief that I had called a backup. Mom, Dad, I opened the back door and slid in. My boyfriend isn't coming until the 27th. Stop looking. Oh, right. My mom slapped her thigh. It's Christmas Eve. He's got to spend the actual holiday with his folks first. That makes sense. My dad patted the steering wheel. This Marcus kid is pushing 30, right? Glad he finally realized he needs to step up. I bit the inside of my cheek, cutting off their eager discussion about their future son-in-law. Marcus and I broke up. The car went dead silent. I'm seeing someone new. His name is Alistair. I looked out the window. Don't get the names mixed up. My dad whipped his head around, entirely ignoring the icy road ahead. Wait, when we talked on the phone last week, you said Marcus was just on a business trip. Keep your eyes on the damn road. My mom grabbed the steering wheel and violently corrected our lane. She turned her wrath on him. It's not you dating the guy. Why are you having a heart attack? She said he's coming on the 27th, so we'll meet him on the 27th. You're driving like you've downed a fifth of bourbon, acting a fool on the interstate. I laid my head against the cold window, letting my mom's familiar, abrasive nagging wash over me. It was true. I had told them just last week that Marcus was finally coming. Now, at the 11th hour, the groom was swapped. I braced myself for the interrogation, but they just kept bickering about my dad's driving, deliberately stepping over the landmine to give me space. Tears pricked the corners of my eyes. My chest physically ached from how fiercely I loved them. I dozed off in the back seat. The moment we pulled into the driveway of my uncle's sprawling farmhouse upstate, I was swarmed. My dad was the youngest of 5, my mom the youngest of 6. This meant our family gatherings were chaotic, deafening, and heavily invested in the marital status of the youngest cousin me. My oldest cousin bounced a toddler on his hip, brought the little guy over, so some of his baby luck rubs off on you. Get married, have a kid, and give Andy some peace of mind. Yeah, working on it, I mumbled. My 2 older female cousins practically shoved their heads into the car window, scanning the empty seats. Your guy has 0 manners, who drags his feet for almost a decade. They clucked their tongues in disapproval. If he had any sense, he would be here tonight with an armful of presents. You treat him like a goddamn prince for nothing. Yeah, totally uncalled for. Aunts, uncles, and great-aunts crowded around the driveway. Where's the boy, Cammy? Didn't show. Not today. He's coming on the 27th. My aunt stepped in, physically pulling me from the firing squad. Give them a break. People have their own families to see on Christmas. She said he's coming later. Back off and let the girl breathe. It was 20 degrees outside, and I was sweating through my cashmere sweater. God help me, I thought. How the hell is Alistair, an actual European aristocrat, going to survive my lunatic American family? 4. Christmas and the day after passed in a blur of food comas, spiked eggnog, and relentless socializing. When I finally collapsed onto my childhood bed to rest, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Hello, I answered, my voice raspy with exhaustion. It's me, Marcus. Before I could even process the audacity, his voice cracked with indignation over the line. You blocked me. Yeah. I stared at the ceiling. We broke up. Was I supposed to keep you unblocked so I could like your Instagram stories? I messed up. But Camille, you have to give me a little more time. I wasn't ready. You messed up a lot of things. Which one are you apologizing for? I asked, my voice chillingly detached. You agreed to come home with me for the holidays. If you couldn't do it, why promise? Hell, if you got cold feet, why didn't you just communicate that to me? I sat up, the anger finally catching fire. Ever since you agreed to come, you either ignored my texts or gave me one-word answers. Scroll through our chat and count how many times you just sent me a K this past year. You told me you were terrified of marriage. You didn't want to meet my parents. I gave you time to process it. 7 years. 7 goddamn years. I took a ragged breath. I gave you nothing but understanding and space, and you turned around and spent Christmas playing house with your 21-year-old assistant in her hometown. On the other end, there was a loud crash, followed by Marcus groaning in pain. Fuck. How did you know about? No, listen, let me explain, he panicked. I was just doing Kenzie a favor. Her parents were breathing down her neck about getting married. She's only 21. She shouldn't have to. I don't care. I snapped, the sound of his voice physically repulsing me. We are broken up. I do not want to hear your pathetic excuses. Marcus's panic morphed into defensive anger. I admit that breaking my promise to you was wrong, but you can't even give me the grace to explain myself. We had a rule, Camille. We promised we'd talk things out, that we'd never go to sleep angry. He was still violently avoiding the subject of Kenzie. I wasn't going to waste my precious holiday rest on him. There's nothing to talk out. You strum me along under false pretenses. You break promises. You deflect blame, and you are completely, utterly gutless. I am officially informing you we are done. Goodbye. I hung up and instantly blocked the new number.